It's the 5th day of August 2021. Good evening, beloved viewer, and welcome to Hope TV, where you look and live. Thank you for choosing Newswatch. I'm Tess Njenga, and my sign language interpreter is Boniface Murithi. Let us get you briefed. Deputy President William Ruto has continued to defend the bottom-up economic model, saying that it will enable 15 million Kenyans at the bottom of the pyramid to be active participants in the economy. Ruto, who spoke earlier today after hosting what was termed as a UDA parliamentary group meeting at his official residence in Karen, asked his competitors to stop the politics of ethnicity, division and hate and have a healthy competition and a conversation about the economy of our nation. Members of parliament affiliated to the Hustler Nation who attended the meeting said they have found a new home in UDA, claiming the Jubilee Party has collapsed. Alice Diana, who attended this event, begins our bulletin with this report.
Deputy President William Ruto has welcomed criticism from a section of politicians over his bottom-up economic model, but asked the leaders and those opposed to it not to make fun of the model. Speaking at his current residence after hosting the Hustler Nation Parliamentary Group meeting, Ruto faulted opposition leaders for prioritizing the desire for power and political positions at the expense of ordinary citizens and welcomed them to the conversation about the common mwananchi.
We welcome all the criticism because it is an avenue for us to improve on our model. And while we are at it, they should equally explain to the country how their trickle-down economic model that has not worked for the last 50, 60 years is going to work this time round.
Ruto explained that the bottom-up economic model will adopt labor-intensive projects as opposed to capital-heavy projects to create jobs for the youth. In the long run, he added, this will help reduce the country's foreign debts by ensuring more Kenyans work and do business.
To fix this economy, using the same resources we have, by changing the model, we can create more jobs, we can create more enterprise, and we can get farmers and pastoralists supported to produce more. That is the bottom-up economic model.
Deputy President William Ruto's allies faulted the opposition and a section of Jubilee legislators for hijacking the government and derailing Jubilee's development agenda through the BBI for the past 4 years and mismanaging the economy. In a joint statement read on Thursday after the Hustlers Parliamentary Group meeting in Karen, the MPs said they have now adopted a new economic and political paradigm that prioritizes bottom-up over trickle-down economics, the people over their leaders, empowerment over power sharing, jobs over positions, among other issues.
Focused on this new paradigm and through a bottom-up economic and governance model, it's possible to enable the over 15 million Kenyans at the bottom of the pyramid to be active and meaningful participants in the economy through deliberate, 1, public-private labor-intensive investment framework to create jobs. 2, financing instruments and mechanisms to spur, promote, and empower hustler enterprises such as Mama Mboka, hawkers, bodabodas, artisans, artists, among others.
Our manifesto, our agenda is very clear, and we want them also to put in place why the bottom-up model is not good for Kenya, but the trickle-down model that we have lived with since independence is better than what we have. So that should be the discussion. That should be the narrative.
At the same event, the Deputy President brushed off calls for him and his political brigade to officially announce their exit from Jubilee Party, under which they were elected, saying they will make choices at the opportune moment.
Sisi si waalikwa. We are not guests in any place. We join parties by choice, and you live by choice. So nobody should be bothered, and nobody should ask anybody why you are still here. This is a democratic country.
A total of 135 members of parliament affiliated to the Hustler Nation and 2 governors, Josephat Nanok of Turkana and Stephen Sang of Nandi, attended the current meeting. A section of Jubilee leaders who say they have found refuge in the United Democratic Alliance have reiterated that the bottom-up economic approach model is a model that will help solve some of the issues facing the country. For Hope TV News Watch, at the DP's residence in Karen, Nairobi County, I'm Alice Diana.
Thank you, Alice, for that report. The Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, has launched investigations into the mysterious murder of 2 brothers who were reportedly in police custody when they died. The 2 were reported to have been arrested during curfew hours in Embu North. The team from IPOA will collaborate with their counterparts from Meru to assess culpability. Velma Moresa tells us more.
Following the death of 2 brothers from Embu, Benson Jiru and Emmanuel Mutura, the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, has deployed a team of detectives from the Nairobi headquarters to team up with the Meru team to investigate the incident. This is according to a statement by IPOA chairperson Anne Makori, who said corrective action will be taken if criminal culpability is established on the accused. And I quote, "Upon conclusion of investigations and pursuant to Section 6A of IPOA Act, the authority will make recommendations, including prosecution, if criminal culpability is established on the part of the police officers involved." End of quote. At the same time, IPOA reproached angry members of the public who went on a rampage mission and caused destruction on public property, torching a police vehicle and attacking a police post, protesting the death of the 2 brothers. I quote, "The authority also discourages members of the public from taking law into their hands by attacking the police and damaging public property, as was illustrated yesterday. In this regard, IPOA calls for public calmness and restraint as it undertakes thorough investigations into the matter." End of quote. As the family is full of suspicions of how the corpses of the boys were found 30 kilometers away from their home, the authority ascertained the public it will handle the case with the utmost confidentiality, with ensuring all processes are conducted fairly. The bodies of the 2 are lying at Embu Hospital morgue, awaiting an autopsy that will establish the cause of death. Residents of Kianja Koma area on Wednesday took to the streets to protest the killings of the 2 brothers as they demanded justice. The irate residents also vandalized a police vehicle, accusing them of being part of the injustice.
Kwani serikali ni ya nini? Ya kutusaidia ama ya kutuua? Wametuulia watoto kwa nini? Kwani wanafanya nini? Kuna police station Kidangari. Kwa nini watu polisi wa Manyata walikuja Kiajokoma na kuna police station Kidangari? Kwani watu wa Kidangari walikuwa wapi? Na kuna askari. Askari hapa sasa tunasema afadhali askari wakae tukae tukisaidia kuliko tukue na askari na tusaidie watoto wangu wawe.
Tokea kufanya hii inaitwa peaceful demonstration sababu ya watoto wawili ambao walikuwa na future yao, Ben na Motora, ambao walikufa kwa mikono ya askari. Sababu hapa Kiajokoma pamekuwa ndio askari wote wanarandi hapa kutoka Kebogo, kutoka kule Lonyejes, kutoka Keriare hata Kadagere, kila weekend rasmi wafiki hapa.
Bado tunaendelea kuongea na wakubwa na tutahakikisha ile kitu yote litendeka itajulikana. Kwa hivyo mimi ningeomba tu tuwe na amani na ile kitu yote mnaitisha italetwa.
For Hope TV News Watch, I'm Velma Moresa.
Thank you, Velma, for that report. We hope that justice will be served indeed. Back to politics. The Federal Party of Kenya, FKF, has settled on gospel artist and presidential aspirant Reuben Kigame as its flag bearer in the 2022 general election. Speaking during his admission as a FPK president candidate today. Kigame said this will be a new dawn for the country away from the normal politics and is determined to bring change in the country by being a president for all. Dolly Murigi brings us the details.
The 2022 general election has continued to attract people from different walks of life, coming with a common language of delivering the country from the shackles of impunity. The latest entrant is renowned gospel artist Reuben Kigame, who wants to vie for presidency via the FPK party. His decision to join the long list of presidential aspirants has been received differently by a section of Kenyans.
Prevent financial bleeding.
The Federal Party of Kenya endorsed Kigame to vie for the presidency in the 2022 general election, and on Thursday, the party admitted him officially as the flag bearer. The singer is confident enough to go to the top seat, having experienced what he said is bad governance by the current regime.
For me and the Rebuild Kenya mandate, I would say I am willing and I am ready to be the voice not just of the Federal Party of Kenya, but of every Kenyan citizen that wants true inclusive change. And inclusive change means that everybody is on board, that anyone can vie for any office, that anyone can move this nation where it needs to be. We bring to an end sectarian politics that pits certain families against others or entitles certain families to be above other families of this country.
Known for his activism, Kigame has been at the forefront of calling out the late Jubilee government's mishandling of the country. In a move to woo support across the country ahead of the crucial election, Kigame says he's the best candidate to take over the baton from retiring President Uhuru Kenyatta.
I believe that I will be able to stand among my equals as the real voice of change, as the real voice of hope, and the real voice of a better and new Kenya.
He made public his intention to contest for the top seat in April this year, saying the tough times the country is undergoing have prompted him to take the tough decision.
We represent every tired Kenyan that is tired of not just status quo, but is tired of doing politics the old style. Today we launch a journey into liberating ourselves one more time from corruption and impunity, from hunger and starvation, from debt that we did not incur as citizens, debts incurred on our behalf. We launch a journey into liberation from limitations of health services and joblessness. But most of all, we launch a journey to liberate Kenyans from hopelessness.
FPK nominated 20 National Assembly candidate for the 2007 general election, receiving 0.2% of the vote and failing to win a seat. In the 2013 general election, the party nominated 56 National Assembly candidates, increasing its vote share to 1.6% and winning 3 seats. But 2022 is almost here, and the biggest question is, will the FPK party form the next government after Jubilee? Dolly Murigi for Hope TV News Watch.
Much appreciated, Dolly, for that report. Still in politics, the leadership wrangles in the troubled Ford Kenya party have once again emerged 1 year after the registrar of political parties recalled a Gazette notice that had published Wafula Wamunyinyi as the new Ford Kenya party leader. Wamunyinyi now claims that the party should hold a nationwide election that will see election of new leaders, including a new party leader, in an aim to end the frequently witnessed wrangles. Dickens Luvanda has this report.
It is obviously clear that the differences of who is the bona fide party leader of the one of the oldest political parties in Kenya, Ford Kenya Party, may not end anytime soon. more than 1 year after the registrar of political parties recalled a gazette notice that had published Kandui Member of Parliament Wafula Wamunyinyi as the new party leader of Ford Kenya. The Wamunyinyi-led faction has slammed Ford Kenya party leader and Bungoma Senator Moses Wetangula's led faction, accusing him of exiting the NASA coalition without their involvement.
We apologize for that technical hitch in sound in the previous bite. We shall try to revisit that story again. But for now, let's take our first commercial break on Newswatch Tonight. We'll be back with much more news.
Hatua ya kumzuilia naibu wa rais kwenda nchi ya Uganda ilikuwa hatua ya kisiasa. Kunao watu katika serikali kuu na haswa katika ofisi ya rais ambao wangependa kuhakikisha kwamba wamemfinyilia.
Ni mahojiano ya moja kwa moja kuhusu mvutano na ubabe wa kisiasa kati ya naibu wa rais William Ruto na wapinzani wake.
NASA ilikufa kitambo. Wale ambao wamekuwa wanashikilia NASA tunasema kwamba walikuwa wanashikilia mzoga. One Kenya Alliance tunasema kwamba walikuwa mtoto wa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta na wale ambao wako nyuma yake.
Swala la kifo cha muungano wa NASA nalo lisiachwe nyuma.
One Kenya Alliance.
Okay. Ili kupata uhondo huu kamili, ungana nami Dickens Rwanda kwenye mahojiano na Philip Mwangale, mchanganuzi wa masuala ya siasa na uongozi, Jumaa hii saa 1 kamili ndani ya Dira ya Hope TV.
From country music, classical quartet harmonics,
now I'm a child,
homecoming series,
for he saved the worst among
tent revival, and many more.
I'm gonna lay down my burden, down by the riverside, down by the riverside.
Watch these great musical adventures on The Bill Gaither Show, featuring Gaither Vocal Band, Linda Randall,
for the God on the mountain,
and many other series like The Alaskan Cruise.
And now I'm feeling mighty fine.
These gospel favorites, recorded in front of beautiful sceneries, guaranteed to rejuvenate your love for gospel music. Bill Gaither Show, only on Hope TV, where you look and live. This week on Turning Point.
Are you going to live like you are an heir, or are you going to scrounge around the rest of your life just trying to get by as a Christian? You know what I hear from some Christians? Listen to me. I try to live as close to the edge as I can without going over the edge. And what they mean by that is live as carnally as you can as a Christian. Just don't step over the edge and do something that'll ruin your life. You should be trying to live exactly the opposite way. Live so close to Jesus, you're not even tempted for some of this stuff. Don't live like you don't have any inheritance, because you have the inheritance that is the same as that which was given to Jesus Christ. You are joint heirs with Jesus Christ. And we're going to live like that. We're going to live according to our privilege. We're going to be children of God, and we're going to be proud to be children of God. We're going to live like children of God. Amen? Amen.
That's This Week on Turning Point by Dr. David Jeremiah.
Welcome back, and thank you for keeping it Hope TV. On COVID-19 statistics today, 1,571 people have tested positive for the disease from a sample size of 9,065 tested in the last 24 hours. The positivity rate is now 17.3%. Total confirmed positive cases are now 208,262. And cumulative tests so far conducted are 2,166,046. Fortunately, 4,497 patients have recovered, with 4,335 from home-based isolation and care, while 162 are from various health facilities countrywide. Total recoveries now stand at 195,685. Sadly, 32 patients have succumbed to the disease, pushing the cumulative fatalities to 4,052. A total of 1,618 patients are currently admitted to various health facilities countrywide, while 4,187 are under the home-based isolation and care program. At the same time, 112 patients are in the intensive care unit, ICU, 43 of whom are on ventilator support and 61 on supplemental oxygen. 8 patients are under observation. On county distribution for the top 10, Nairobi leads with 605, Kiambu 187, Mombasa 101, Nakuru 82, Nyeri 77, Kilifi 51, Kirinyaga 50, Uasin Gishu 43, Kajiado 39, and Busia 35. And the Ministry of Health has raised an alarm on the increasing number of COVID-19 infections in schools across the county. Ministry of Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe, who spoke after a meeting with Tanzania's Health Cabinet Secretary Dorothy Gwajima, called on the teaching faculty, and non-teaching staff to avail themselves for vaccination in order to provide cover against the deadly virus. Here's Grace Wangoi with that report.
Barely 2 weeks since learners reopened school for the first term in their new 2021 school calendar, the Ministry of Health has sounded an alarm that schools are reporting high cases of COVID-19 infection. From the onset of the deadly virus in March 2020, it was established that younger persons were at a much lower risk of severe infection or death, and it was the much older persons in the society and persons with comorbidities who experienced much severe symptoms. Despite the virus spreading among learners in school, Ministry of Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe has issued a warning to teachers and non-teaching faculty to strictly adhere to COVID-19 guidelines and avail themselves for COVID-19 vaccination. He becomes the third person to call on teachers to be vaccinated after Teacher Service Commission TAC CEO Nancy Macharia and chairperson of the Task Force on Vaccine Deployment and Vaccination, Dr. Willis Akwale, last week also called on teachers to receive vaccination as a measure to better manage COVID-19 in schools.
As long as people can keep the measures that we have given, and especially this idea of all teachers being vaccinated, I have said, and I'll repeat, that the danger in schools is more to do with the teachers than to do with the students. Because essentially, when what we have observed is that the students are essentially asymptomatic. And the problem becomes when they pass it on to the teachers. So hopefully, the teachers will accept and agree that they all should be vaccinated. Workers in schools, workers in primary schools, secondary schools, and elsewhere should also be vaccinated. And they are frontline workers, and we have considered them as such. So in terms of vaccination, there is no shortage of vaccination for teachers. Let me just make it clear.
Mutahi, who addressed the press in the presence of Tanzania's Minister for Health, Dr. Doroji Gwajima, yet again called on individual responsibility as a major defense against COVID-19, while warning Kenyans against attending funerals during this period. Oblivious of the danger they put themselves in, Kenyans are yet to grasp the importance of social distancing, as many are still attending political meetings among other gatherings.
It is individual responsibility that you resolve this problem. It is not policing that is going to resolve the problem of infections. Transmissions come because you are next to another person. If you are on your own, if you stay on your own, if you work from home, as we have proposed, if you take the measures to protect yourself, you will not get infected. But if you go to a noisy pub, if you walk into a noisy pub where everybody is drunk, and you start hugging each other, and you hug even a stranger that you have never seen because of your circumstances in the head have changed you, then you can't, really, you will get infected.
Gwajima noting that COVID-19 is a worldwide problem that previously the world had little to no information about, has defended Tanzania's first approach of mitigating the effects of COVID-19 using natural remedies, saying the government used the knowledge it had to protect the lives of its citizens. The late Tanzania President John Pombe Magufuli had dismissed reports of corona in his country.
We started with our own context approach in Tanzania to save the lives of people with what we had given the history of tiba asili and the experience, and we saved many lives, including mine and many lives of others. Wataalamu wetu walitumia. Sayansi ikaendelea kutoka mwaka 2019 ukaja mwaka 2020. Watu wakaanza kuangalia kwenye pool ya vaccines studies zilizopo zinazohusiana na SARS-CoV-2. Si kwamba wanasayansi walikuwa wamekaa tu, walikuwa wanatafuta majibu kutoka kwenye akiba zao za study mbalimbali ambazo ziko related na ugonjwa huu. Ilipofika mwaka 2020 mwishoni, zikaanza kuja news kwamba maybe there will be vaccine and blah blah. Mheshimiwa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania wa awamu ya 5 hayati John Pombe Magufuli akiwa Chato tarehe 27 Januari 2021 akasikia habari za chanjo. Akasema Wizara ya Afya Tanzania, musiwe mnakimbilia chanjo bila nyinyi kujiridhisha. Tarehe 1 Februari nikaitikia tamko hilo, mimi Waziri wa Afya Dr. Dorothy Gwajima. Nikaita press kama nyinyi hapa. Nikawaambia tumemsikia Mheshimiwa Rais akiwa Chato alivyosema, pamoja na kusema yote kuangaliza kuhusu chanjo. Amesema tukajiridhishe, na sisi tunaanza kujiridhisha chanjo bado mpaka tujiridhishe. Tuendelee kujifukiza, piga tiba asili, fanya mazoezi, kula malimao, vitamin C, kazi iendelee.
Grace Songoi, Hope TV News Watch.
Much appreciated, Grace. EACC officers in Garissa have arrested a Kenya Wildlife Service KWS assistant warden after the suspect demanded a bribe to sign compensation claim forms for a man who was attacked by a crocodile in River Tana. Duane Mohammed Kir was attacked while herding his goats in Denyere area, Garissa County. According to the victim's kin, Yasin Mohammed, the officer Jimna Peta at first demanded a bribe of 100,000 to sign the forms and forward them to the National Office for approval. EACC Northeastern Head Emmanuel Arunga said once they received the complaint, they conducted a prior investigation and established that there was indeed a demand. The suspect is now being held at the Garissa police station and will be arraigned in court.
Mzee inaitwa Mr. Duane Mohammed ambaye aliumwa na crocodile mamba, na alikuwa kwa hospitali Garissa General Hospital almost a mwaka 1 month, na hiyo forms ya KWS ni haki ya kila mtu ambaye ako na injury ama death apate haki yake ya compensation. Tulifata process, hiyo process ilikuwa muda mrefu kutoka mwezi wa pili mpaka sai. Tumeenda chiefs, tumeenda police watuchazie form, tukaenda kwa daktari wakajaza, lakini bahati mbaya wakati tulifika hapo KWS ndio sasa walikataa. Huyo officer alisema ni lazima apatiwe pesa ndio wa approve hiyo forms ndio apate pesa.
He actually requested for a bribe of 100,000 shillings, which we could not raise as a family. We tried to seek help as a human being, because the individual who needs to get this help is someone who is very poor.
We organized for an operation. We went to the office of KWS. We recorded the conversation with the warden and established that indeed there was demand. So the complainant bargained with the suspect, and the amount was reduced to 50,000 Kenya shillings. That was 3rd of August 2021. We called the complainant alongside his witnesses and we recorded their statements. After recording their statements, and of course having established that there was a demand, we organized for a second operation today, where we went to the offices of the KWS, and indeed the warden demanded for the amount, and we gave him a treated money, after which he was arrested and brought before our office.
Let's now go international. The government of Burundi is expecting to receive vaccines to complement its efforts of addressing the COVID-19 challenge. With 7,500 confirmed cases, the East African nation is changing tact by embracing vaccines for the first time. The government has, however, said that it will not be responsible in case the World Bank-funded vaccines present side effects to the people who will be inoculated. The government says its strategy at present is to focus on areas that have higher rates of infection before looking at others. A van carrying people believed to be illegal immigrants crashed close to the border with Mexico, leaving about 10 people dead. It is reported that the incident took place at 4 p.m. local time at a region close to the United States Border Patrol checkpoint. The van was packed with 30 people, twice the number it was designed to carry, according to the police. Survivors of the crash are receiving treatment in hospital with varying degrees of injuries. Investigations into the crash have begun as authorities work with their Mexican counterparts to identify the deceased. The Biden administration has come under criticism from the right-wing politicians who blame the administration of reversing President Donald Trump's immigration policies that put a check on the influx of illegal immigrants. And Iran has sworn into office its new president, Ibrahim Raisi, following the election victory in June. It comes at a time of growing challenges for Iran, whose economy has been crippled by US-led sanctions. Ibrahim Raisi, who has been inaugurated as Iran's 8th president today, faces a complicated set of political, economic, and societal challenges upon assuming office. The 60-year-old hardline Raisi replaces moderate Hassan Rouhani, who championed the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, Iran's 2015 nuclear deal with world powers that took a big hit after the United States unilaterally abandoned it in 2018 and went on to impose harsh sanctions. He sought to position himself as a revolutionary president and emphasized Iran's peaceful stance in the world in his address before parliament. Let us now take our second commercial break on Newswatch tonight. We'll be back with business news.
Join us every Sunday for unlimited, uplifting, powerful worship. Only on Extended Worship.
Hope TV is where you look and live, offering some of the best family entertainment programs with Christian movies, in-depth discussions, contemporary Christian worship, and testimony programs. Hope TV provides the life-transforming message of Jesus Christ. We deliver inspirational, informational, and motivational programming with special guests and unmatched teaching. When it comes to watching television, tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
Let's continue with business. Conservancies in the Masai Mara game region have received a huge boost after they received 660 million Kenya shillings COVID-19 mitigation funds to support their operations after the pandemic grounded tourism. Speaking at Olare Motorogi Conservancy, the German ambassador to Kenya, Annette Ganther, announced that the funds will go towards supporting the landowners, rangers, and general conservation in the Mara ecosystem. She, however, asked the beneficiaries to ensure that they utilize funds for a sustainable conservation of the tourist jewel. Tourism Cabinet Secretary Najib Balala, who graced the event, hailed the German government gesture, saying it goes a long way in supplementing the ongoing economic stimulus program the government was carrying out in the 160 conservancies in the country.
We all are aware that during the pandemic, the livelihoods of this area were lost. The economy of this area is dependent on tourism. And when the travel restrictions came, tourists did not visit this area. And that is why most investors are not happy, the employees are not happy, and that is why we need to support them. And I want to appreciate the support that the Kenya government gave to the rangers, and with the rangers, some of the rangers are still continuing to receive the government support. And today, I want to thank also through you the German government for the support that they are giving us today, going forward.
We have suspended the repayment of bilateral
official Kenyan debt to the German government for 1 year. So, and now we are stepping further up our support with this project here. We will support wildlife conservation in the Masai Mara for all the good reasons that I have mentioned before. And I'm very happy and honored today that we can officially and publicly announce the contribution of 5 million euro, or roughly 660 million Kenyan shilling, from the German government to the GIZ project, COVID-19 emergency support to conservancies in the Masai Mara region.
The government today is here with the government of Germany, and we collaborated together because Masai Mara is not an ecosystem that belongs to the Masai people or the Kenyan people. This is a global ecosystem and needs to be protected. We are doing this conservation agenda not for ourselves only, but for the global community. And that's why the participation of the German government into this is the one that recognizes this is a global conservation effort. And Masai Mara is a very important ecosystem that we need to protect.
And several small-scale business groups from Thika West sub-county that were ravaged financially due to the economic impact of COVID-19 have benefited from 1.4 million Kenya shillings funds from the government's Poverty Eradication Fund in efforts to revive them. The groups from Thika's informal settlements benefited with between 50,000 Kenya shillings and 250,000 to rebuild their businesses and to empower them financially. The funds will be repayable in 12 months. Thika Sub-County Social Development Officer Mercy Kinoti said 10 registered groups consisting of between 10 to 20 people that deal with micro businesses benefited from the funds. Thika West Deputy County Commissioner Mbogo Mathioya, who had attended the event, encouraged groups to continue applying for government funds such as Uwezo and Youth Enterprise Fund to empower them and uplift their living standards.
It is a loan, it is not a grant, and the groups that we've given know that. So in the next 3 months they'll be able to start repaying. The minimum of the group should be 10. Then we don't go beyond 30-40 groups, 30 member groups with beyond 40 members. Reason being that when a group becomes such a big group and we issue them with loans, it becomes difficult for them to manage.
Tunaongea kuhusu mambo ya milioni 1.4 ambao ndio vikundi hizi zote 9 zimeweza kufaidika na hiyo pesa. Hasa uzuri wa kuweka hii pesa, kupatia vikundi pesa kwa vile ni ya serikali, tunataka wao wenyewe waende wafanye biashara nayo, waende waweze kutumia kwa matumizi ambayo inafaa. Ndio baada ya mwaka mmoja watakuwa wamerudisha hiyo pesa na tuweze kupatia vikundi zingine. Katika hizi vikundi vile umesema ni kwamba kuna zile taratibu watu tunatumia. Lazima tutawafunza, baada ya kuwapatia cheki tutaita tena tuwafunze jinsi ya kuwezeka hizi pesa kwa zile sehemu ambapo tunajua watapata returns mzuri, ndio wasikuje kupata hasara.
That's a big boost indeed. Let's now take another short commercial break. We'll be back with sports news.
Hatua ya kumzuilia naibu wa rais kwenda nchi ya Uganda ilikuwa hatua ya kisiasa. Kunao watu katika serikali kuu na haswa katika ofisi ya rais ambao wangependa kuhakikisha kwamba wamemfinyilia.
Ni mahojiano ya moja kwa moja kuhusu mvutano na ubabe wa kisiasa kati ya naibu wa rais William Ruto na wapinzani wake.
NASA ilikufa kitambo. Wale ambao wamekuwa wanashikilia NASA tunasema kwamba walikuwa wanashikilia mzoga. One Kenya Alliance tunasema kwamba walikuwa mtoto wa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta na wale ambao wako nyuma yake.
Swala la kifo cha muungano wa NASA nalo lisiachwe nyuma.
One Kenya Alliance. Okay.
Ili kupata uhondo huu kamili, ungana nami Dickens Rwanda kwenye mahojiano na Philip Mwangale, mchanganuzi wa masuala ya siasa na uongozi, Jumaa hii saa 1 kamili ndani ya Dira ya Hope TV.
From country music, classical quartet harmonics,
Now I'm a child,
homecoming series,
for he saved the worst among
tent revival, and many more.
I'm gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside, down by the riverside.
Watch these great musical adventures on The Bill Gaither Show, featuring Gaither Vocal Band, Linda Randall,
for the God on the mountain.
and many other series like the Alaskan Cruise.
And now I'm feeling mighty fine.
These gospel favorites, recorded in front of beautiful sceneries, guaranteed to rejuvenate your love for gospel music. Bill Gaither Show, only on Hope TV, where you look and live.
A very warm welcome back. Let's look at sports news. Kenyan youngster Abel Kipsang set a new Olympic record as he raced to the final of the 1,500 meters. Kipsang, who raced in the second heat of the semi-finals, broke off from the rest in the last 100 meters to set the new Olympic record in 3 minutes 31.65 seconds. The old record of 3 minutes 32.07 seconds was set by another Kenyan, Noah Ngeni, when he won the gold medal at the Games in Sydney, Australia. World champion Timothy Cheruiyot, who ran in the first heat of the semi-finals, also qualified for the final set for Saturday. Cheruiyot, who controlled the race from the gun to the bell, finished in third place, with the top 5 finishers to secure a place in the final. And reigning champion Baldev Singh Changa has finally gotten the opportunity to serve a supercar during Saturday's KCB Voi rally, where he will pilot on car Rais VW Volkswagen Polo. Changa has not had much seat time in the Volkswagen, but believes the little he has experienced has shown that the car is a different breed compared to his championship-winning Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution X, I beg your pardon. Saturday's event will count towards the 4th leg of the KNRC after the season's opening Nakuru Rally. ARC Equator Rally and WRC Safari Battle Royal looms in Division 1, where joint leaders Paras Pandria and Nikhil Sanchania will go for each other's jugular. Mark Mani and Diraj Chathe are a distant third on 30 points apiece. Group N action will involve leader Jasmeet Paras, Evans Kavisi and Hanza Anwar with 30 points. Legendary Ian Duncan tops the specially prepared vehicles SPV class with 30 points ahead of Nikki on 44.
The route, I believe, it is going to be challenging, as all other routes are. It's amazing to have the rally back in Voi after 5 years. The last rally that was held back in Voi was the 2016 Wundanyi rally, and it's nice to go back to Voi. This time it's going to be on open type roads, but 100% private land. We've got a complete mix in the stages. You've got the fast and open areas. You've got the tight and twisties. A change of surfaces as they go through each stage. So it's definitely going to be quite challenging, which I'm sure the drivers are probably looking forward to. So the rally, preparation has been going on, but we will all be out from next week onwards. Scrutineering and recce will take place on the same day, whilst the competitors are out on the route doing their recce and checking the stages. Their teams will be partaking in the scrutineering process. Scrutineering will take place on Friday, the 6th of August from 9 a.m. onwards, whilst the recce is kicking off from 7 a.m. onwards, I believe. The route, we've got a total of 8 stages. We've got 4 stages that are being repeated twice. Stage 1, we've named it Tighter. And with stage 1, it's totaling up to 17.39 kilometers long. Very fast, I would say. It will be a good eye-opener and wake-up call for the drivers early in the morning as they go through that stage. After SS1, they then go on to SS2, which we've named Hildana. Hildana is quite twisty, I would say, but with amazing backdrops. I think it would prove to be a really nice rally stage.
And Safaricom has announced a 1 million sponsorship for rally driver Maxine Wahome ahead of his weekend's Kenya National Rally Championships Voi Rally. Maxine, popularly known as the Riding Queen for her prowess in the motorsport, will be driving a Subaru N10 with seasoned navigator Lynette Ayuko on the dusty Voi route. She successfully completed the 2021 WRC Safari Rally held in June, finishing in 23rd position. This year, Safaricom also sponsored 3 young Kenyans, that is Makri Kimathi, Hamza Anwar and Jeremy Wahome, as well as veteran Carl Flash Tundo during the Safari Rally.
I'm glad Safaricom has come to support me as a lady. They've seen the potential the ladies can do, and I'm grateful to them for supporting us. I've been racing actually bikes for quite a long time, almost 10 years. I switched to rally cars in 2020, and I did my first rally at the Safari Rally. I grew up in motorsports. My dad used to rally, my cousins, all my family is into the sport, bikes and cars. So I grew up around it and I fell in love with it. I'd say I've done rallying for maybe 1.5 years. I did autocross for half of the year before COVID came. But we continued, and then I switched now to rally, which was my first rally as Safari Rally. I'm looking forward to a clean drive, as the same way I did the Safari, hoping to finish a good position, and also being the only ladies crew to make the ladies proud.
For us at Safaricom, the key thing has been about how do we encourage young people, men and women, to enter into rally. During the WRC, we announced a partnership with the FIA Juniors, in which we put a donation of about 15 million shillings. We also did sponsor Flash Tundo, and his role is mainly to mentor the young rally drivers in the FIA program, as well as Maxine and Lynette, who are a ladies-only team. We're excited about Maxine because of her history in the sport. She's been in motocross as a champion lady. She's been in the juniors, and now she's graduated into WRC, into rallying. And she did finish the rally, the WRC Safari Rally, which was great for her and her team. And we're looking forward to working with them to encourage more women to join the sport, and also wishing them success as they enter into this new phase of rallying, and especially in the next rally, which is the Voi Rally.
Well, that's all we had for you on Newswatch tonight. On behalf of my director, Richard, my scrolls person, Ian, and Kelvin on the sound, we wish to thank you for your valuable company. I'm Tess Njenga, and my sign language interpreter is Boniface Muriithi. Have a good night, and God bless you.